What's good, everybody? My name is Hameen Phillips. You're watching the Sticky Web Domains channel. So today I got something special for you guys. Something that is absolutely almost impossible right now. Today we're going to talk signals. I remember when I was in class, I could not find signals online to save my life. So I thought, it's pretty crappy outside. It's a blizzard and there ain't no need to go out there. So how about I make you guys some flashcards? That way, at least you have some kind of general idea of railroad signals. Yeah. I think that's a good idea. Let's do that. Let's do signals. But first, you already know what we got to do. Let's roll the intro.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you guys say? Let's get started. So the first signal I want to do here is a clear. All right, so a solid green basically means clear signal, and it means to proceed. All right. So green means to proceed, and it's going to be just a solid green signal. However, a clear could also mean all right. So you can also see a clear signal with a solid red at the bottom. That also means clear. So the way I like to remember this is to kind of ignore the solid red lights on the bottom and just focus on what's on top. So in this case, it's a solid green, which means clear. So this is a clear signal. It means to proceed, okay? Okay, so this signal is what you call a approach limited. This is solid green on the bottom, and it'll be yellow on the top. Okay. This signal means approach limited. Also, the green at the bottom is a flashing light. So I'll use this black marker here and use these squiggly lines to indicate flashing. Okay, so when you see a solid yellow on the top, flashing green on the bottom, that means approach limited. And the meaning of approach limited is to proceed at the proceed prepared to pass the next signal, not exceeding 60 miles an hour, and be prepared to enter a diverging route at prescribed speed. All right, so that's the meaning of approach limited. Solid yellow, flashing green on the bottom, okay? Okay, so this next one is a little tricky because it actually will look like the approach limited signal that we just did. However, don't let it trick you. There's a difference here. And the difference is that the green light at the bottom will not be flashing. It's just a solid green light at the bottom and a solid yellow light on the top. All right. So this light is called advanced approach. What this one means is to proceed prepared to pass the next signal not exceeding 50 miles per hour and be prepared to enter the diversion route at prescribed speed. So this light is be prepared to proceed at 50 miles per hour. The approach limited that we just did with the flashing green was 60 miles per hour. And that's kind of how you can tell the difference. One way I learned is that flashing is faster. So the flashing green indicated that basically you can go at 60 miles per hour. But this is the solid green, so this is 50 miles per hour. So again, this is advanced approach with the solid green, unlike the approach limited with the flashing green. So don't get tricked up on that. All right, next one. This light is just a flashing yellow. I'll use the green to indicate that it's flashing. Okay. And this flashing yellow is basically approach medium. All right, so when you see a light that looks like that, flashing yellow, it means it's basically an approach medium. All right, so the description of approach medium is to proceed prepared to pass the next signal not exceeding 40 miles per hour and be prepared to enter diverging route at prescribed speed. Okay, now this light can also look like this though, and this is where it gets tricky. So if you see a flashing yellow on top and a red at the bottom, it still means approach medium. So ignore the red at the bottom and focus on what's on top, which is the flashing yellow. Okay, so if you see that light, that's approach medium. Let's go to the next one. So this light, we're gonna do some yellow on the top. Man, I'm just scribbling like crazy. I should have like a 3-year-old come and help me with this. Okay, and now I'm gonna use like a lunar blue is what you're gonna see out there. It's kind of a bluish looking color, like a light blue color, almost like a gray or almost just like a bright light almost. But when you see a solid yellow on top of a lunar color, now it means approach restricting. And what that means is proceed prepared to pass the next signal at restricted speed. Okay, so solid yellow underneath a blue, which is also known as a lunar, means approach restricting. All right, next one. It's just a solid yellow light. Okay, solid yellow light basically just means approach. And the definition of approach is to proceed, prepared to stop at the next signal. Trains exceeding 30 miles per hour immediately reduce that speed, reduce to that speed, okay? So yellow light means approach, and approach can also look like this. Just to give you guys a heads up, it can have a red light underneath that yellow. So don't let that red trick you up. Like we said, like I mentioned earlier in the video, ignore the red. Focus on what's on top, which is the yellow, which still means approach. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Green on the bottom. And what that means is diverging clear. Anytime you see a red light at the top, it means to diverge, or you're diverging. So in this case, green being clear, we already said that earlier, that green means clear. Red, when it's on the top, means diverging. So this is diverging clear. And the meaning of that is proceed on a diverging route, not exceeding prescribed speed through turnout. Okay? All right, so these are 3 lights, just so you know. Kind of ran out of the room here. So we got a red here. All right. And we're gonna do yellow here. So basically you're going to have 3 lights. The 2 bottom lights are going to be yellow. The top light will be red. All right. So when you see a red on top and 2 yellows at the bottom, that is basically going to mean diverging, approach, diverging. All right, so like I said earlier, the red on top is always diverging. We already discussed how yellow light means approach, and in this case, if there's a 3rd yellow light at the bottom, now we're diverging, approach, diverging. And what that means is proceed on the diverging route, not exceeding prescribed speed through the turnout. Be prepared to advance on diverging route at the next signal, not exceeding prescribed speed through turnout. All right, so yeah, that's a little tricky, but this is diverging, approach, diverging, red, yellow, yellow. Red's going to be on the top. And what is it, yellow at the bottom. And that yellow will be flashing. So here's my little squiggly lines to indicate that it's flashing. Okay, so this light means diverging, approach, medium. So early in the video, we already discussed how flashing yellow means approach medium. Well, in this case, the red is on top, which we talked about means diverging. So now we're diverging, approach medium. All right. And what that means is proceed in divergent route, not exceeding prescribed speed through the turnout. Prepared to pass the next signal, not exceeding 35 miles per hour. So instead of 30 miles per hour, now it's 35 miles per hour. Is as we discussed before, flashing is faster, and that's kind of how you can remember these signals. All right, let's move on. Red on the top. Man, I'm messy. should have my daughter do this. Jeez. Solid yellow on the bottom. Okay, so now what we have is what they call diverging approach. It's just a solid red on the top, which we said already that means diverging, and a solid yellow, which means approach. Together, we got divergent approach. Easy enough? All right, let's move on. So, that's the red. It's a flashing red. So we're going to do squiggly lines because it's flashing. And when you see a solid flashing red, that means restricting. All right, that's it. Proceed at restricted speed. Now, that same light can also look like this. Let's get rid of that. All right, so it can also look like just a lunar light, which is like a light blue, like we discussed earlier. If you see a single lunar light, all right, that also means restricting. Okay, that light actually can also look like this. Here, it will be red on the top and a flashing red at the bottom. All right, so I'll use the squiggly lines to indicate flashing. Okay, so if you see a light that has the solid red with the flashing red at the bottom, that also means restricting, to proceed at restricted speed. Okay, one more light and we're done, you guys. If you guys happen to see this light out there on the rails, a single red light. Okay, with a number plate, and the number plate, let me use this. Let's say this is the pole. The number plate would be like a little plate. Okay, so if you see a single red light with a number plate, where's the camera? Okay, here we go. That means stop. All right, that's it. Just stop. A single red light with a number plate. Okay. That can also, I'll give you guys one more example. That can also look like this. Red, red. Oh man, my battery's dying, so I gotta hurry up here. All right, so if you see two solid lights that are red, again with a number plate, that means to stop as well. Okay. All right, we're done. If you guys like this video, hit that like button below. Also, share it. Share this video if you think that this video can be helpful to anybody you may know. And last but not least, subscribe. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, I have no clue what you're waiting for. Subscribe today. And on that note, I'll see you on the rails. Peace.